Good. All right. So welcome to our class live at the moment. Thanks everybody for coming. It has been a long time since we've seen Knock. Bob, thanks for joining, and Ken, as always, as you're always here. So today we want to focus on some idioms in English, but not just any idioms. Idioms related to work. And so I don't know if you'll know these phrases or idioms, but I think they're kind of interesting. So what I've done is I have the phrase, the definition in my own words, and then examples. So we'll kind of figure that out. Bob, are you able to speak today? You were speaking to me before, so of course.
Yes.
Perfect. So Bob, that means you can read today as well. So what I'll do is we have plenty of these. So business idioms. Let me just get here. And here we go. So business idioms. You're like, oh, well, business. Well, what kind of idioms can we do with that? There's actually a lot. I'm thinking about maybe doing a part 2. Even if we do finish all of these idioms today, there's definitely a lot more that we can work on. So I'm pretty excited. A really good topic. Also, if you have any suggestions of classes, I'm looking for suggestions for probably the end of May, early June, July, things like that, okay? So if you want to write those in the chat box, if you think of something, that's great. And if not, well, that's fine too. So what we'll do is basically like this. I'll try and put as much as I possibly can about the idiom in the same spot. And Knock, would you like to read what this means? So the idiom is big picture. Then I said, like, we have the next part is the definition, and the following part is my example. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. So yeah, please read. Yes, please. Everything you see.
Okay. Big picture, looking at small details and not the end result, depending on the situation. If you have problems at the new employee, look at the big picture. One person shouldn't ruin your career.
Okay, good. So thank you for reading that. This is kind of a strange idiom, just because, like I said, it depends on the context. So it's either looking at the small details or not looking at the small details. Here in the example, if you have problems with the new employee, don't worry, because in the big scheme of things, which I will write in the chat box, that one person isn't important, but the big picture is, your job, your career, what you're working on. Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Have we heard of this one before?
No, I never.
Okay, that's okay. That's good. Bob, have you heard of the big picture before?
No.
Okay, Ken?
I think I've heard of this.
Okay. Could you think of maybe a different example?
Big
Or is
picture.
that a little sudden?
We need to have a small time achieve goal. Also, we need to have a big picture to achieve the goal.
Yeah, that's true. Also, for example, if you're ever having a bad day in English and you're like, this is terrible, I don't know, I can't do it, I'm not improving. If you're thinking very negatively about your English for some reason, don't worry about it. Think of the big picture. Okay, where have you come from? We all spoke probably nothing of a second language, or in your cases in English. And so if you think about where you started and where you've come from, that's the big picture. So don't worry about those small details. Of course, we all have bad days in our second language or third. So very good. Any other comments or questions before we continue?
No.
All right, good. Well, we will go in order. So, Bob, it's going to be your turn, and I'm going to have to move this, it looks like. Yes, so once you finish with the definition, I will move down to the second part, okay?
Okay. Back to square one.
Oops. Can you read the rest of this, Bob?
Okay. You have to start from scratch at the beginning again. The finance, I not see the text back now.
Okay, let me move it. That's okay.
I see the knock log now.
One moment. Now I'm going to put this in the chat box, okay? You should see it there.
Yes. The finance didn't come true for the new project. We'll have to start back at square one.
Okay, very good. So, to start back at square one means from the beginning or from scratch. From scratch is the same as the beginning, from scratch. Have we heard of the from scratch example before? No? Well, I'm writing an example here. It says, my mom made a cake from scratch. Basically, she didn't buy a box. She literally had the flour, the eggs, the anything and everything she needed, the baking soda or whatever. I don't bake, so I'm not good at making cakes. But this is another example of from scratch, nothing. And Ken Scratch in the world of DJs is that sound ee. Right? That's what you're referring to. So that's embarrassing. So maybe, yes, scratch is a different one. Also, it's, for example, your cat scratches you by accident or your dog can scratch you. You can also scratch yourself if something, itches on your skin. So scratch does mean a lot of different things, but when it's from scratch, we always need from scratch. In this case, it does mean from the beginning. And so, oops, sorry. Big picture, back to square one. So here when it says, oh, the finances didn't come through for the new project, so they can't continue with their project. It says, we'll have to start back at square one. I don't know why. That's okay. We'll have to start back at square one. We'll have to restart the whole project. It's impossible to continue with even just the basics of the project. We have to think of something completely different. Okay?
Okay.
Fantastic. Well, thanks, Bob, for reading. Ken, it's going to be your turn to read. Dun, 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 dun. Do you see everything?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, Cutthroat. Though tough competition. This next month is going to be cutthroat. We have to work hard and do everything we can to beat the other competitors.
So, I mean, if we think about this literally, cutthroat, it's like someone has a knife up to your throat, which isn't a very happy thing to think about. So what they're saying is just really tough, really difficult competition.
Yeah.
Okay. Is this a new phrase for everyone? I mean, I think it might be in movies or something, but if you don't watch movies with violence, which I don't, you probably won't see it. No? Okay. So this.
Part of them, but I forgot the meaning of this.
Okay. Yeah, we'll cut through it. This is an adjective. Yeah, tough competition. Very very intense, let's say. So very good. Well, moving on. There's lots of good ones today. So moving down, and I had to move that. Whoops. Okay, so by the book knock, it's going to be your turn again.
I
Okay. Can you see everything?
Yes, I can hear.
Okay, you can read that.
On a book, this means to do something by the rules. You cannot cut corners. We must go by the book to do our taxes. We don't want any problems in the future. Down to the line. Down
Okay.
the line.
Yep, down the line. So we have a couple different phrases within this definition and meaning. So first, by the book is you must do something by the rules. Okay, the book in this case is referring to this imaginary rule book. And cut corners. I thought cut corners was a good thing to put here. Does anyone understand what this means? Or if it's new, do you understand it by the context?
I think it means shortcut.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you can't. Okay, I don't know how to put that exactly into the. You can't do a shortcut. You can't.
Maybe you need
Right?
to do follow the kind of consequence or follow the process.
Exactly. Yep, you can't skip any parts of that. So yes, that's cut corners. So yeah, maybe a shortcut is a good idea. The structure would be different, but yes, that's correct. And then it says, we must go by the book to do our taxes. Of course, you don't want any problems in the future or down the line. Has anyone heard of down the line before?
No.
No? Okay, that's okay. That's why we're here. Bob,
Yes.
down the line, have you heard of that phrase before?
I think yes.
Yeah, do you have any idea what it means?
Not now,
Okay, that's okay. Ken?
but I remember this phrase.
Okay.
No problem.
Want any problem in the future down the line? Follow follow the process. I don't know.
That's okay. No, that's okay. Down the line just means in the future. It's a synonym for in the future.
Oh, really?
So we can say, for example, we must go by the book to do our taxes. We don't want any problems down the line. I love this. I love hearing the light go on in everyone's mind. So basically, in the future and down the line are synonyms. Okay, so fantastic.
Wow.
Wonderful, wonderful. Like I said, lots of information today.
Yes.
The next one, Bob. Looks like I'll have to move down again. Can you see this?
Yes.
Okay, could you please read?
See eye to eye. When you see eye to eye with someone, you agree with them. Another saying, to be on the same page.
Okay, good. So now we have again, see eye to eye or to be on the same page. And, oops, our example, can you see this example or do you want me to put it in the chat box?
Yes.
Okay. Copy and there.
My boss doesn't see eye to eye with me about a raise.
Actually, what I'll do is I'll put my raise because it's not just anyone's raise, it's his raise or her raise.
Yes.
In this case, it's your raise, Bob. So,
Yes.
okay. And so with see eye to eye, or let's put this in using this same sentence, but put in to be on the same page. So I'm going to start with my boss, and then I'm going to wait, and then you guys can help me put this in the correct form. With me about my raise. Okay, so how do I write this sentence?
My boss. Eye to eye with me.
I want to put to be on the same page here.
Was on the page, is on the page or was on the page.
Well, don't forget that this is negative up here.
Isn't.
There you
Isn't.
go. Oh, yes, I know this sentence is incorrect. So we'll take this. So my boss. Good. We're taking the verb to be, conjugating it, and adding the negative. So my boss isn't on the same page with me about my raise. Good?
Good.
Fantastic. That was fun. So good. Let's see. Bob, you read that one. So Ken, it's going to be your turn. So here you go. Can you see everything?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Raise the bar. To raise the bar means to set higher expectations or to set a goal more intense than normal. In 2019, we are going to raise the bar in order to increase our business by 40%. Wow.
Very high goals there. So what are they talking about? Raise the bar.
Kind of very high as to set a high goal to achieve
Mm-hmm.
than higher than usual goal.
Exactly. It's not just, oh yeah, let's increase our business. If we go little by little, that's enough. No, that's fine. No, 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 no. Here is, all right, let's go. Let's do this. We're going to beat everyone. We're going to be number one. And not just number one, we're going to increase our entire business by 40%. I mean, that's huge. That's a lot, in my opinion. So I thought 50% was a little too much, but 40% is okay. So, has anyone ever heard of this expression before? No? Okay. No, that's perfectly fine. Good. All right, so now, whoops, where I like this one. Okay, this is one of the fun ones. Put all your eggs in one basket. What are they talking about here? So, Knock, it's your turn. Could you please read the definition and the example for us, please?
Um, put all your eggs in one basket. This saying means that you depend on one thing to be successful or make a profit. When investing money in the stock market, you don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Has anyone ever heard of this before?
Well, I have to say that other thing here that I never see anyone before. It is all new to me.
Great. No, that's good. That's good. Bob, does it sound familiar? Do you understand it?
Yes, yes. It sounds familiar, yes.
Okay, that's good. And Ken, what about you?
No, it sounds like Easter to me, but
It
it's
does,
not.
doesn't it?
Okay.
It has not, well, it's kind of that theory of, for Easter in the United States, which is not this Sunday, but next Sunday, so in what, almost 2 weeks, um, we go egg hunting. We have an egg hunt, and so we look for all the eggs. We put them in our basket. Well, what happens if your basket breaks or it falls? You break all of the eggs, and then you don't have any eggs left. So it's kind of that same theory of don't invest all of your money into one thing just in case it does not go through, it doesn't work, something negative happens, etc., etc.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
And so here they're saying with this, well, I'm saying I wrote this with the stock market, you don't want to invest all of your money in one stock. I think it's smarter, in my opinion at least, to maybe invest in 2, 3, 4 different stocks, maybe less amount of money. But there's always a very high risk with the stock market. You never know if it's going to go up or down. So you're gambling, basically. And so I think it's safer to divide your stocks into different areas. So that's basically the same thing. Don't count on one thing, but, go slowly but surely, basically. And that's another good expression. Slowly but surely. It means, it might increase little by little, but it's a lot better than going up and down, up and down. So, any questions or comments? No? Are you all shocked at how how many expressions you're using today?
So hard.
Yeah, it is hard, and that's why idioms are so important for English learners because, for example, maybe you see, oh, put all your eggs in one basket. You're like, you understand the context, but you don't understand, you've never heard of this saying before. That's okay. But it's again to kind of allow you to see different ways in which we say things. So I think it's good. Today is a very important day in all of your learning. So next one here. Who read the last one? Knock read the last one. So Bob, it's your turn.
Okay.
Oops, 1 second. Sorry. Okay. Can you see everything?
Yes.
Okay.
No strings attached. There are no special limits or rules. You can sign this contract today, and there are no strings attached. There will be no repercussions, consequence.
Very good. So yeah, repercussions I've added in here because it's a pretty interesting, difficult, not very common word. Does anyone have any questions about repercussions?
Yes, I have a question. I see, I heard this phrase before, but I not remember. I don't know exactly what does this mean. No,
That's okay.
no strings attached.
That's okay. Basically, what they're saying in the example is, if you sign this contract today, don't worry. If something changes, or there's no consequences in the future, nothing will change in the future. But sign it today so it's, done. But there's no strings attached. There's nothing like, oh yeah, now you're going to have to pay me 10% extra because of this new tax law or something. There's nothing like that. There's no repercussions or different consequences.
Yes. Yes, very, very helpful phrase.
So when someone says, hey, Bob, do you want a contract for this cruise? You say, well, are there any strings attached? And that means, any other kind of consequences, I don't know, maybe the sleeping arrangements or food or, things like that.
Yes,
So
I saw this phrase on the contract before many times. Yes.
okay, good. Perfect. Well, then that's very useful for you. And Ken, have you seen this before?
No, which means there are no strings attached. So maybe there's no problem for this contract. Is that this meaning?
Not exactly.
Okay.
It means that the company will not come at you and say, "Hey, will you sign this contract?" And because you signed the contract clause, something, another part of this is that you have to do something by this date, or it's that you have to do something else that wasn't explained. It's more of that everything is clear. What I told you today is what it is, and that's it. There's nothing else hidden. There are no hidden fees, hidden exceptions, nothing like that.
Okay.
Okay, does that make sense now?
Yes.
The last one that put in situation that when in an exam when I have my friend to do the exam and no string attached. Is it okay?
Yeah, if your friend's doing an exam, there's no strings attached. There's, nothing else that your friend knows everything and all the information, the potential consequences of the exam. But there aren't any special rules or limits after, or apart from. For example, I say, no strings attached. I'm trying to think of a different example. If you buy this car today, there are no strings attached. We're not going to call you every day asking, you can come here with the money when you have time, things like that.
Yes.
Okay. So very good. Any other questions with this one? Okay. Well, let's move on. I think, Bob, you read that one. So, Ken, it's your turn to read this one. And
Me?
oops. 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 All right. So, Ken, I'm going to have you read this and then I'll move down to get the last part. Okay.
Okay. Learn the ropes. The phrase learn the ropes is used when there is a new person who is learning a new skill, trade.
Okay.
I'm going to have to learn the ropes of my father's business if you want to take over one day. If I want to take over one day.
Mm-hmm. So, do we understand this, or what do we think about this? Is it confusing?
No,
I understand.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Well, that's pretty simple. And learn the ropes is learn the basics. So pretty simple, but good. All right. Well, if it's that easy. Well, actually, let me ask one other question. What is take over? It says if I want to take over one day.
Kind of inherit, or how can I say, instead of this person's father, the person that the business is the kind of inherit the business from his father.
Yes, that's true. So inherit, or I would say even control, to take over, that he's going to control the business. So
The manager.
A manicure?
Manager. Like.
The manager. Sorry. Yep. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Well, you're not even just the manager, but the boss, the most important person. The leader of the company. So pretty important. Okay.
I understand.
Okay. Good.
Thank you.
Yeah, perfect. Very good. Well, moving on here. So, Knock, it's going to be your page. No, your page. No, your turn. No. I had on the same page because I added it and then I was like, wait, I did it before. So I just have C eye to eye. It's kind of like a joke, kind of like in not very funny. Like in the dictionary when you look up a word, it's like, oh, see this definition. Okay, so that was me being funny yesterday. Anyway, long shot, Knock, this is your turn. All right, so go ahead and read for us, okay?
Okay. Long shot. When someone says something is a long shot, they mean it is not easy to often complete. Buying my father's business is a long shot, but I'm going to try.
Okay. So very good. Thank you for reading this. Questions? I mean, do we understand this at this moment? Or what's confusing?
Like it is something really, really hard to complete.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Someone's like, oh, that's a long shot. Basically, you don't think that it's going to happen, but it does, or it could. I mean, there's always potential that it might work. And so, basically, when you say it's a long shot, it has this negative connotation, this negative meaning, and you don't think it's going to happen. Like I said here, they mean it's not easy to obtain or complete. Okay, good. And so this person who's talking says, buying my father's business is a long shot. Basically, they don't think it's possible or it's going to be extremely difficult for whatever reason. It could be the finances, it could be because his father says no, blah, 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 blah. So, different options there. Okay.
I understand.
Good. Yeah, well, it's not just for you, like when Ken and I are alone in classes sometimes, it's always for the people that are also watching as well or who will watch the videos. So I try and do different examples. So very good. So now looks like we'll move down here and down and down and down. Okay, so go the extra mile. Bob, it's your turn, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Go the extra mile. Try hard. If you want to be a successful businessman or businesswoman, you need to go the extra mile.
Okay. So is this new? Knock, probably for you it's new, right?
Not new, but
Not new for Bob. Okay. Did you remember this phrase or just it sounds familiar?
sound familiar.
Okay. Do you watch a lot of movies in English, Bob?
Yes, before 10 years, but now I have not plenty of time to watching movies a lot.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, watching movies when, these idioms will happen. You'll hear them and you think, "Oh, okay, that's what it is." Or, you'll hear these now. Again, once you're exposed to something in a different language, you'll hear it. And that way you can learn more about it, learn the context and understand it even better. Ken, had you heard of this go the extra mile?
Maybe, but I forgot. And I got meaning, the context from the context.
Okay, good. Well, with that, let's get on to this one. And I'll have to move this down. So, Ken, if you want to start reading, and then I'll move it down when needed, okay?
In a nutshell, this saying, in a nutshell, means that someone is summarizing the situation. They are leaving out details that might not be needed at the given moment.
Okay.
That they are.
What?
Where is the idiom in a phrase? They are leaving out the
Oh,
details that
no.
might.
They're leaving out details that might not be given up. Down here.
Okay. my manager told me a story from years ago. In a nutshell, he was telling me to step up my game or try harder.
Okay, good. So here we have some more phrases. So basically, in a nutshell, yeah, no, this is why I like to have everything on one page. It's easier to read. So let's do that actually. Here. Okay, so in a nutshell, basically, someone's summarizing. So in a nutshell, a nutshell is, excuse me, literally the outside part of a nut, which is relatively small, let's say. And so they're saying it's not all the other details, the big information, but it's within inside. It's inside the nutshell, which is very small. So it's kind of how you can think of this, to remember it. So my manager told me a story from years ago. In a nutshell, he was telling me to step up my game. So without trying to use like a lot of different details and things like that, just he told me a story, not a story about when he was growing up and his father talked to him. No, no, no. Let's just something very simple. In a nutshell, he was telling me to step up my game or try harder. So now again, we have step up my game actually means try harder. So has anyone seen Step Up My Game before?
No.
Okay. No?
No.
Sounds like for me it sounds like step at the game of kind of step up the happiness phase of the game because nowadays the game has a phase. Sounds like,
Okay.
but maybe it's not.
Well, no, yeah, yes and no, yes and no. So a step up means many different things in English. Step up, let's see, could mean physically step up when you're going up the stairs. That's probably one of the most basic. Also, step up kind of means try harder. So maybe in a family situation, something happens and one of the children has to step up and help one of the parents, okay, because they're ill or something that, happens typically in families. And so that step up means, do something extra, put in extra effort. And so when it says step up my game, that's just a phrase that we use. Maybe you can also use this in sports. It doesn't have to just be in this context for work, but also in a basketball game, for example. Come on, step up your game. Do better is what they're really saying. Okay. Any questions, other examples, different things?
So step up my game in this context. Uh, his maybe this person's manager's effort or this person's effort.
The manager, for example, to make the
Mhm.
longer version of this example, the manager was telling him a story from years ago about whatever, about when he was working and he had a conversation with his boss or something like that.
Mhm.
And so this person who's ever speaking says, so in a nutshell, so basically, to
Mhm.
sum it up, he was telling me, so the person who's speaking is saying, this is like reported speech. And actually, that's a perfect, let's do that. So, for example, my manager said, step, oops, step up your game. And then this person, let's say Tom said this, I don't know. Tom said that his manager said, that's weird. That's a lot of information. Tom told me that his it's like, ugh. So this is like reported speech twice because it's not just only what the manager is saying, but Tom is also reporting it to someone else. Me that his manager told him to step up his game. Interesting. Does everyone understand this? Because it's a little bit more intense than normal, this reported speech sentence.
So that's a manager's effort. Am I right?
Not exactly. No, because the manager directly said, it says my manager said, step up your game. So literally this is the um direct sentence. And then Tom basically is telling us, the other listeners, that his manager told him,
Mhm.
uh, or what we can do is say Tom's manager told him to step up his game. That's going to be a lot easier.
Mm.
Okay. Tom's manager told him to step up his game. Does this make sense?
Mhm.
So it's Tom's effort.
Yes.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Any other questions? No? Okay. Just to kind of mention reported speech. So basically, this, if you want to review, there's normally 3 people involved. Normally, you can do it in different ways too, but normally it's person 1, in this case, the manager, is telling Tom something. Now, Tom reports it to us, who we're listening now. And so we're kind of the third person or in this example. And so what we have to do is change, for example, because Tom literally said this. And so when we say my, it has to be Tom. The manager stays the same. And then because Tom's manager literally said this information, it came right out of his mouth. That's why we're using these quotation marks. Okay, it's direct. Now, at the indirect or reported speech, we're saying Tom's manager told. Why are we using told and not sell in this sentence or said? Can anyone answer this?
Can you answer again?
Yes. Sorry, I muted myself. Why are we using told in this case, but said in this sentence? Any ideas?
Can I? Or
Sure.
yeah, I think if it is said to me, so you cannot say said me.
Okay, well that's more of the grammar structural rules. The manager said to me, you can put that. That's fine. So it's not exactly what I'm looking for here. In this part, the step up your game, this is the most important. This is the context of the sentence. And so the manager says, come on, do this. He's giving him information or instructions. In this case, instructions. And so that's one of the differences is with said, it's literally something like literal. What did the person say? They said hello. They said step up your game. Okay. And so in the second part, when Tom is saying what happened, Tom's manager told him, he gave him information, do this, you must do this. And so we're using told. So said, in a nutshell, did you hear that? In a nutshell, said is used for more direct information. We'll put info there. And told we use more for, this is the eyes, instructions or maybe giving information, giving instructions. Information. So again, the first one is direct information. It's directly from their mouth. That's why they were using said. Now, in the first sentence, we could use, we could use tell. My manager told me, as Ken was saying, you can't say said me, you have to say told me, step up your game. But because it literally came from his mouth, said actually works better here. And told sounds better here because now we're saying the instructions within the same sentence and it's reporting. We're saying it to somebody else later. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Maybe one day I'll have to do more reported speech, but any other questions about this for now? Okay, doesn't sound like it. Ken, did you read this one in a nutshell?
Yes.
Yes, you did. Okay, so can you read this for us?
Okay. Get down to business. Let's get serious and begin. Okay, enough chit chat. It is time to get down to business.
All right, so there's probably some questions here. I have this in direct speech again with the quotations because this is something that someone would say. And I didn't have, said so-and-so. It doesn't matter. But so get down to business. All right, stop this other stuff. Stop the jokes, the small talk, chit-chat. What is chit-chat? Any ideas?
Which means small talk.
Exactly. Basic. Yeah. Anything else? No, that's basically it. Chit chat is, that small talk. Oh, hey, how's it going? Oh, yeah, this weekend I did this, blah blah blah. That's chit chat, basic information. People are chatting, okay? And so it's like, all right, stop all of that. Let's do this. It's time to get to work. Let's get down to business. Okay, it's to focus on what you have to do for that day.
Yeah.
All right,
Like the game of the business chit chat.
Chit chat is kind of the other information. It's just the whatever information. Not important. What's important is what they have to do. So they should get down to business and start working on it. All right. Well, Bob, I think this is the last one I have. So let me just move this down properly. Oh, no, it's not the last one.
Game plan.
Oh, yep, go ahead and read.
A game plan in the business world means to have an idea, schedule, itinerary about a project, etc.
Exactly. And so it looks like I don't have an example for this, so sorry. So a game plan. So maybe we can say Monday morning, let's think of our game plan for the week. So you need to do something by the end of the week. You're going to start on Monday morning. Okay?
Yes.
Maybe every day you're going to work on something on the project little by little or not, or you're going to think of what you need to do every day to complete the project.
Yes.
Yeah.
Questions? No?
I think I understand.
Okay. Well, then, Ken, this works out perfect then. And do I have an example? I do. Perfect. So, Ken, could you read this one, please?
Okay. Easy come, easy go. If something was easy to get, you can also lose it easily. The stock market is easy come, easy go. One moment you can be up, and then next you can be in the red.
Okay. So, do we understand this one? Easy come, easy go?
I know the song called Easy Come, Easy Go.
Can you sing it for us?
Easy come, easy go.
Well, good.
That's it. No, go ahead.
All right. Well, so easy come, easy go. Exactly what the phrase is saying. It's easy come, you can get something easily, but it can also go very easily. So, like it says in the stock market, one moment you're up making lots of money, and the next minute it crashes and you've lost a lot of money.
True.
Okay. True. Unfortunately true, right? That's
Yes.
yeah. Well, very good. Perfect. So, any questions about any of these that you want to look at again, or pretty good? Because you can always watch the video as well. No?
No.
No.
Okay. Let me stop screen sharing then for a moment because we've actually come to the end of our class, so that was perfect. Like I said, I think these are really good to not only understand in the business world, but also as easy come, easy go. And there was another one, step up your game, something like that. They can be used in different contexts as well. So I think it's really important to understand the meaning more than the actual saying, but it's still good to understand the saying as well. So good. Any comments?
Nice lesson, Becky.
Thanks.
Yes.
Let's just double check. On Wednesday, on Wednesday, we will be looking at expressions and adjectives about our feelings. Yeah, I did mention that. And then next week, I do want to mention on Monday, so same time next week on Monday, we'll be doing role plays. Now, I do have to explain a little bit about the topic. It's going to be about conjunctions. And Ken, if I'm correct, you had mentioned this many months ago. And so now we'll be working on it. Basically, role plays with conjunctions. So I have a little explanation about conjunctions that I was working on today. And then next Wednesday, the 28th, so not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday, we'll be having a discussion about dating at work. So dating at the workplace. So kind of a whole different subject area, something that we've never really discussed before. So that's it. Any final comments? No? Okay, perfect. Well, very good. Well, I'm going to get some more water because that's what I do is I drink lots of water. And thanks for coming. It was really great to have all three of you today. You know, familiar faces and old and new and everything in between. So thanks for coming, and hopefully we'll see you on Wednesday, if not next Monday. Next Monday is always good to have as many people as possible. So hopefully you can make it, okay?
Okay.
Yes.
Wonderful.
We will see you soon.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Well, everyone have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Goodbye.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.